righty, what's happening? Tiki and Tierney show's going to be a good couple days here, Barbara. Let's go.
Subway Series. If we don't get it rained out.
We're probably going to get it rained out tonight. And if we don't, well, then we're just going to have to slog through it because it's going to be a fun couple of days. It's an important couple of days, but not as important, really. I mean, if the Yankees got smoked again yesterday, it would be very hard to conjure up any sort of legitimate enthusiasm for the Mets series outside of the fact that it's just Yankees-Mets. Now, obviously, let me take that back. For me, Aaron Boone, the podium pounder, right? Teague, let's not get it twisted. That was all manufactured.
No, I mean,
that was for us.
Yeah.
That was our pound of flesh. Boone is no dummy. Now, it worked a little bit, and we'll see if it's got a little life to it, a little battery life, but that one was for us.
I think Aaron Boone, just like a lot of us, have been frustrated by how this Yankees team has played over the last really half of a month, almost a whole month if you go back into July a little bit, because the last series that they won was at the end of July against the Kansas City Royals. And since then, they've been scuffling to score runs, scuffling to show any kind of fight. Even Aaron Judge was talking about they need a little bit more energy in the clubhouse. Aaron Boone, the skip, disputed that, saying, no, that's not the case. But what I see when I listen to what these guys are saying is that there's a disconnect. Remember that report about 2 weeks ago when Aaron Boone was asked if they have meetings? Uh-huh. Remember, and he said, yeah, we met in Seattle, which was at the beginning of the month. I don't think Aaron Boone has I don't think he has the pulse of this team. And it shows when you have your star player, Aaron Judge, saying, yeah, we're lacking energy. You know, we need to pick each other up. And Aaron Boone says, yeah, we're fine. And so I think what happened 2 nights ago when he's screaming and yelling because somebody asked him about, I don't know, the melees that they're stuck in, and he starts raising his voice, slowly escalates his voice, and he starts pounding on the table as if he's trying to connect with his team. He's trying to say, you guys, but he won't say it to them. So he's trying to connect with them through the media. So you say he's doing it for us, meaning the fans. I'm saying he's doing it for the players. There's something not connecting right there, and it shows when he tries to explain himself and why he say, look, we're right there, we're a first place team, we have the talent, we have these great players. He's trying to talk to them in a way that I don't think he's actually doing in person, and so sometimes it works through the media. Remember Jim Fossil did this?
Yes.
Yeah, pushing my chips to the center of the
Herm
table.
Edwards.
And it was a way exactly. It was a way to talk to the team through the media. I think that's what Aaron Boone is trying to do.
All right, so we see it a little differently here, but let's hear it again. Go ahead, guys.
I got to quit answering these questions about this state and this perplexion, and we got to play better. Period. And the great thing is, it's right in front of us. It's right here, and we can fix it.
Okay. You know, I got the impression before the game. Now, a win doesn't change these flaws. Yankees still have monster issues.
Yes.
Monster. But, you know, listen, if we're going to get on the air and dissect the losses and take them to task and pound them, and we have been pounding the Yankee, and rightfully so, from Hal all the way down, you got to recognize wins. And you got to recognize, you know, wins with energy and spunk and spirit. You also have to realize that it might prove to be a bit of an outlier, and, you know, it might just temporarily feel good, and the Yankees might eventually, you know, hopefully not, but soon go back to where they were for the past 5 weeks. I don't know. But what I felt, it didn't really hit me until you were out, Thursday and Friday?
Yep.
All right. I felt like it hit me then. But I didn't say it. I tweeted it over the weekend, and I still feel this way. I almost feel as if this Yankees team just doesn't like one another. Like there's no...
What do you mean?
I can't. I know. That's why I kind of kept it to myself. And this is not like, oh, I heard this. No. I'll tell you if I heard and what I heard. This is just me extrapolating. Watching this team for almost a month and a half and seeing no life and no urgency and no conviction. And in baseball, when that happens, when it becomes lifeless and joyless, aside from a flawed roster, which let's not bury the lead, it's still flawed. I don't know. I've been around, and I'm not saying it's like this, but I was around that Knicks team that with Marbury that couldn't stand each other. And I'm not saying it's like that, but I just feel that, unlike the Mets, who love each other and play for each other and fight for each other. And let me say this, too. Here comes the caveman, the unsophisticated, unevolved caveman. Hey, Aaron Judge, next time, let Garrett Cole come out, will you?
That's right.
Stop waving him back. Shut up.
Maybe you need a fight.
Shut up. That's what I'm saying. If Garrett Cole is now, my money's on Manoah at that point, who, by the way, after the game said, all right, man, you won't come on out.
Right.
Why don't you actually come on out? And I don't even think that Garrett Cole really wanted to fight. But the fact that Garrett Cole, who shows no life ever, actually walks out of the dugout and is berating the opposing pitcher who just drilled Judge. Let him go.
Yeah. Look, I don't think he was.
Let him go.
I don't think he was trying to drill Aaron Judge at all. Manoah.
I don't know about that.
I mean, he turned.
I was watching that at a barbecue, and it was first base open.
Yeah.
First pitch, and I'm like, said to my buddy, I said, that's got to be intentional.
And
we can't prove it. So it doesn't even matter.
It was an off-speed pitch. I don't know.
Ran up and in, whatever. That's not even the point.
Forget that.
Let Garrett, if you have guys who are trying to fight their way out of it, like if anything stuck from Boone going, we got the guys, all that stuff. Now, that's going to be the rally cry or that's going to be a laughable meme moving forward. We'll see. But if you have a guy who is your alleged ace chirping, let him go. Don't wave him back.
Yeah. No, I don't. It's hard to disagree with that. But I need to unpack what you were just talking about with this team not liking each other.
That's just my sense. Just my sense. And maybe that's... I'm not going to walk that back. But here's the thing. There's 25 guys going in 25 different directions.
I'm not saying you need to at all. But as I try to unpack it, just not to be redundant, but to say it again, but I think about how this team is constructed and how many of these guys actually know each other well, how invested they are with each other. Are they hanging out? What are they doing on the road? Like all these things that we can't possibly know the answer to because we're not in the clubhouse. We don't know these guys. Maybe we could ask Sweeney, even though he probably wouldn't. He probably wouldn't know either.
Well, here's the thing about real quick, Sweeney. So we had Sweeney on the show about 10 days ago. Remember that?
That's right.
And it was all negative stuff.
That's right.
To be fair. And he said, all right, the last thing he said was, have me back on the show. Don't just focus on the negative. Have me back on the good stuff. There's been nothing good since.
No, you're right. There hasn't been anything to write home about, so to speak.
Yesterday.
But I just think about whether or not, and again, I don't think it's about liking one another because I don't think they're bad dudes on this Yankee team.
I'm not saying that.
I agree. Because sometimes when you have a bad locker room, it's because that dude's just an ass.
Yes.
Right? That dude's just mean as hell.
Well, like the Knicks situation.
Yeah, exactly. That dude is not somebody you want to hang out with. I don't think that's the case at all. But I do think that it's not necessarily don't like each other. I think it's just they don't know what makes each other go. Like they don't know what makes each other tick and how to get the best out of your teammate. It's one thing to yell and scream at a guy because he's going to respond to it. But if you don't know whether or not yelling and screaming at a guy's he's going to respond to it, and then you get stuck trying to motivate guys by how. Right? If you don't know how a guy is going to react to something, you don't know how to have a conversation with him. You don't know how to get the best out of him. And let's face it, in sports, if teammates aren't doing that for each other, and then there's also what I feel is this disconnect with your skip because he doesn't have meetings with you and he kind of doesn't really have a pulse of the team, and all he can do is scream at the media and say, "Yeah, we're pound the table." Exactly. Like if that's what it takes to pull you out of a slump, then there is a disconnect. It's not necessarily they don't like each other. I think there's just a disconnect that's starting to show itself when they're going through tough times.
All right, 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney here on the Fan. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I mean, these Mets just don't stop, dude. They just don't. They come at you like a tsunami.
Double steals.
They don't stop.
Multiple come from behinds in a game against Philly.
They had no business winning They had no business splitting the series.
No, you're right.
I mean, they really, you have no DeGrom.
No, they won the series.
Pardon me, winning 3. I said they were going to split or maybe lose 3. No DeGrom, no Scherzer, a guy who was basically in the bank land. Just incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
And again, I can't prove. Yeah, and like is not the right word. The Yankees don't seemingly connect with one another.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that you overtly dislike somebody.
That's right.
It just means, as Tiki, I think, very astutely pointed out, if you don't know what makes the other guy tick and, you're not going out and having a drink, and I'm not saying having, 10 drinks, but a nice steak dinner.
Mm-hmm.
How's your family? What's the wife? What's the kid do? Where you from? Like, you need those things. And maybe there's been. But then again, the Mets brought in all these guys, too.
Yeah.
Brought in Kana. Brought in Scherzer, brought in Marte. They brought in guys too.
And
Vogelback.
Kana gets effectively benched for Naquin. He doesn't play a ton. Now Naquin's on a little bit of a slump. He comes back in, hits 2 home runs.
Yeah. By the way, what is Kana bat? He's batting. I think it's like 380 over his last 20. He's starting to fly. We'll really get the Mets in early. We're not going to wait a whole hour. But really, let's say the big story. I'm sure it's debatable. The Mets comeback was insane. But it's very rare, especially in this city, because when a coach or a manager does something like that, it's a soundbite for eternity. And it either defines you positively and serves as a springboard, or it swallows you up.
That's right.
And we don't know what it's going to be. I'm not changing my tune. I still think the Yankees are woefully short of being championship material. But I like the little spirit, although I wish
right in front of us.
Sometimes it just seems real, and sometimes it doesn't. Like I thought, when Herm said you play to win the game, even though it's like a little funny and corny in hindsight, and knowing Herm the way we do, that was Herm.
That's right.
Herm's a passionate person.
Yeah, he's almost playing to. Like, you think I'm stupid? We play to win games.
Talking down to some people and still trying to energize the locker room simultaneously. But we'll see. I mean, when you reach for that as a manager or a coach here, and your team doesn't respond, which the Yankees did at least early, it's dangerous. But it's been so desperate, and you had to reach for something.
Had to.
I just wish Aaron Judge would have let Garrett Cole reach for the haymaker and pop him. Garrett Cole probably would have been wrecked. All right, let's get Sid up in Riverdale. First up, Sid is on the fan. What's going on, Sid? How are you today?
What's up, dude?
Hey, Brandon and Tiki. How are you guys?
I'm good, man.
Hey, Sid. How you doing, pal?
Good. You forgot the 2 things you forgot to mention about Boone. Yeah. All of a sudden, he's got a special pen. All of a sudden, where'd this pen come from? He said Reggie gave him a pen.
Yeah.
That we write the script.
Yeah.
And he's talking about 1985. What has 1985 got to do with 2022?
Well, aside from Mattingly winning the MVP. By the way, how about the shirt I'm wearing today, T?
Oh, yeah.
How about the shirt? I'm rocking the Hitman poster T-shirt. No, it has nothing to do with 2022.
Yeah, it's not relatable.
And so my thing is, so now if the Yankees fall short of they'll make the playoffs, but they fall short of the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any changes being made next season. They're going to do minor tweaks. Or we're going to do a tweak here, tweak there.
I mean, you could see some of the young kids. You could see some of the young kids actually get an opportunity. I mean, and they got to be smart about that. Appreciate your call, Sid, because J.P. Sears, who left here, is balling out in Oakland. Yeah. And so
not as much as Montgomery out in St. Louis.
Exactly. and certainly much more than Frankie Montas has been here.
Although Trevino was really good yesterday.
He was really good.
You go 2+ innings as a relief pitcher.
That's right.
Monster outing.
That was a huge outing, and it allowed them to stabilize because their bullpen was obviously had a lot of heat on it as of late. But, are they going to change a lot next year? It's too early to start talking about next year.
I agree with that.
But if I was just peeking into next year, it's not going to be much different. The roster's not going to be very different than it is right now. Other than the young kids getting an opportunity. At least you would hope that they get an opportunity. Because something needs to be done. They can't stay stagnant like they are right now. Through this season, through the postseason, who knows what happens in the postseason, and then go into next season with the same MO.
Oh no, fans will revolt. It'll be ugly.
I mean, we already saw it at the Paul O'Neill day. They booed Cashman,
yes,
and they booed Hal Steinbrenner. Mm-hmm. Fans are frustrated with this product. By the way,
Paulie didn't mention Jeter.
I know.
Now maybe because he wasn't in front of him.
Yeah.
But how's Jeter not get us behind that?
I don't know.
How do you not get there?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't like that.
That's
weak.
And he's right up there next to him on the display. Like his number is right next to
right
Jeter.
next to him. We're inside the Town Fair Tire Studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that at Town Fair you always get the guarantee lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. I had a thought as well because you talk about, and it's a delicate, dangerous, almost useless dance, but I understand why we do it and why we navigate it on occasion. Talk about the now with the Yankees, and then look to the future because they're intertwined. Like,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because we know what our frustrations are and where they lie, and that's with Cashman, and that's with Hal to an extent, and all the other, and obviously Boone trickle down things we talk about. I tweeted over the weekend. There wasn't a prediction; it was more of an acknowledgement that this might have to happen. As much as nobody wants to sit through this up before yesterday, this slog of a season, the last 5 weeks, the only way it might actually truly get better for the Yankees is for it to really, truly implode.
You mean into next year?
I mean, the rest of the season. Now, nobody wants to see that.
Oh, I hear.
I don't
hear
want
what
to
you're
see.
saying. No, I got it.
I don't want to see an epic collapse.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them lose the grip on the division and get dumped in a wild card series, or God forbid, worse. I don't want to see that. But if you really want to see, radical change with the Yankees, I think many people do. I think that's the only avenue for it to actually happen.
The only problem,
they're not going to get rid of, if they make the first, if they win, I'm sorry, T, but if they win the division and they're competitive in the ALDS, even if they lose they're not going to overhaul the franchise.
Yeah.
Hal's not doing that.
Yeah, but the only thing that complicates that is the whole Aaron Judge situation. You mentioned this last week on Wednesday, BT, how Judge and his decision could be based on whether or not he believes he can win a championship in New York with the Yankees. And if it gets to the point where he's like, yeah, we're going to run back with Josh Donaldson and Stanton's continually hurt, and we got these old, this older team, and we're not making any progress towards winning a championship. And now I have options because now I'm a free agent, and now multiple teams are offering me $300+ million a year. He might not be a Yankee. That's the only thing that complicates it. Like, if you're going to implode this season and then make overhauls to the roster,
He might be the collateral damage.
That's exactly
That's a good
right.
Point.
There's a good
that's
chance
fair, Teak.
that Aaron Judge is collateral damage and not here anymore.
Oh, geez. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. So that's the Yankee angle. We'll get your calls coming up. Obviously, the Mets just keep on trucking. I mean, the way the pitching was lined up, the way the scoreboard read at various points over the weekend, the rain delay, Mets had no business winning that game. And so you just remember, oh, yeah, these Mets are relentless. They just don't stop until they suck the life out of you. Incredibly impressive. So we'll see what the next couple of days bring for the Yankees and the Mets. 877-337-6666.